Answers of an Alien from Andromeda, Video 146 November 2, 2016. Mythy words. My friends, did not have time to come earlier, much work to be done. We were again in the advanced base on Pluto to exchange equipment and personnel, and we lost some time observing work in the Kuiper Belt running by large tractor ships. After informal conversation with CB, I will reply questions from friends. Mythy, what breeds bear these emblems of arrow symbols and the ones found on other UFO here below please? What is the meaning of the symbols? Can you tell what are the symbols used by different races as their logo? Jeet and Eve, many races use symbols, fleets use their symbols, sectors within that fleet use specific symbols. We are talking about thousands of symbols. I can give you an idea of the symbols that you presented only to illustrate. 1. Some Orion research units used this symbol a few decades ago. 2. Some Series B fleet units using these three symbols between 40 and 50 years ago. 3. Some Pleiadians units used to have this symbol at the bottom. 4. Used in some fleets by races here in your galaxy that sowed Asian ethnicities here on the planet. 5. This symbol was used in ships' reptilians' fleets. 6. This symbol resembles a commemorative symbol of the community Galactica generated when the region encompassing our two galaxies and a few smaller satellite galaxies has reached the number of 22,000 regional CG, and contain only 22 stars meaning 1,000 regional each. At the central point there was a real image encompassing the involved galaxies. Mythy, when told we are going telepathic evolving on higher levels, the ultimate way of love to me, my loving wife did not agree. According to her, feelings and intellect would mostly operate on their own domains as fourth dimension concerns would differ from third dimension. Mythy, will the communion of love be deepened by telepathic ability? Are they enforcing each other's? Dives in that respect your wife is closer to the reality on the subject. The concerns and anxieties that you manifest in the third dimension are limited by the very dimension. When in the fourth you see broadly and your understanding of the details changed radically. The fact that you express with words or mental interaction does not change the fact that you are more or less made aware of the importance of loving the known and want to love the unknown. Love is directly linked to comprehension while telepathic abilities depend on DNA physical changes and adequate environment, that is, one thing does not depend on the influence of the other to happen. Mythy, what can you tell us about Sugmatur, the temple of the seven planets located in southeastern Turkey which also has figures resembling ancient aliens or gods? Tammy, Krugs and Atuns kept many colonies in the region. Many temples of eternal light existed where leaders of ethnic groups and their godparents aliens were gathered. Many of these temples were illuminated by energy crystals, molecularly programmed to emit light by converting cosmic energy into light, focused by magnetic beams that created a zero point in these temples. After the transfer of many of these civilizations to other colonies, such crystals have become greed target of elites of more recent civilizations and have been removed from their original locations by demolition of many of these sites. The problem is that once removed stopped functioning for lack of the whole, and have become mere objects of collection in the treasures of the royalties. Currently most of them are stored by your elites as souvenirs. Mythy, Who was Metatron and where did he get the knowledge of the cube Metatron's cube? Did the knowledge of Metatron's cube, which is understood to contain all the geometrical patterns known in science, come from a Krulian or other higher-level being or presence named Metatron? Could you expound upon this cube and its creator? Gregory, the Metatron cube is a geometric combination comprising simple geometric shapes and spatial forms of 3D structures and views of shapes in 4 dimensions. Say the hub geometry merges the third with the fourth dimensions in spatial terms. Metatron is a name given by you guys, there was no one inventor named Metatron. These spatial geometry figures are very old. There were no records of when they were drawn for the first time for many billions of years ago. Mythy, what caused the New Madrid earthquake of 1811 to 1812? Tecumseh's comet and the possible meteor impact? To formulate a possible course of action for survival, in what way has this damaged the Earth's crust here? The Mississippi River has shown signs of incessant agitation at times. Karen, these earthquakes were caused by tectonic adjustments, not by meteor impact. Keep in mind that if you live next to a volcano or enjoy living dangerously or really do not have another place to go, anyone who lives in these regions of tectonic limits will be subject to the designs of nature one time or another. Mythy, lately I'm seeing Obama more relaxed, eager to run away from the White House. You can see it in his face, and his mimic, everything. You can see he doesn't believe what he is saying. From this thinking, a question for Mythy popped up. Dear Mythy, please tell us who is above the President of US, and please could you be explicit and point right to the top. Names, family names, companies or institutions, please. Your elitist politics is extremely bizarre. Even the people knowing the corruption facts openly take no forceful initiative to change the course of their destiny. Your elites intend to change the dolls to make the people think that destiny can change, but it will all be in the same hands as before. The co-religionists corrupt intend to escape with good amounts of resources collected illicitly, and the future former president knows that he will live like a nabob for the rest of his life. He is relieved by the dismissal and does not care at all about what comes after, because the future of the governed was never really in his hands. The only way to get rid of your elitists is to cut it in the bud. Fact that is moving quickly to it. I think I was clear even without naming names directly. Mythy, what kind of relation do we have with our names? How does the name choice affect relations with other persons who carry the same name? Is it pure coincidence or are there deeper involvements on a spiritual base with the ones we choose to meet in one life? Are names sometimes something like keys to remember things we want or have to remember from our past lives? Andre, the personal names make no difference, are random choices of parents and has no relation with any other fact explicitly. Some facts are totally random and the case specifically names have no connection with the same names or pre-birth choices. Mythy, if changes will happen many years from now, how can we help? Most likely all of who signed up as volunteers will be dead already. Elena, the fact you be a volunteer in your civil defense does not mean that you are wishing that there is a catastrophe for that you can be useful, right? I believe the fact that voluntary means be ready to help implement the changes needed for the integration of your society with the new realities. Regardless of religions, languages, ethnic groups, This group mainly represents the race of the planet Earth as a single race, all brothers and focused on the same longings. Time is very relative. If I said that all of you would be inactive tomorrow, it would generate great anxiety and could disrupt the sequence of the work. Do not focus on time, focus on being part of this new conscientization. If you are called to help with 90 years old and in a wheelchair, make sure you no longer need the wheelchair and will feel as if you had 20 years old again. Everything is done much better than you think. Mithy, I know I am annoying, but I am fed up of this videos from Wilcock and Corey, talking about Solar Warden Space Command, interstellar capacity of US and so on. You cleared it up once, can you please do it again, because so many new claims emerged that I think our members need the word from you to tell them what is true and what not in this stellar fleet claims. Yurish, despite your having elites achieve some progress in some areas with tips given by reptilian scientists, it is still impossible any attempt to cross the energy field Van Allen and survive without the protection of a suitable force field. These force fields are generated quantum, and this is a technology that is still far from being achieved for you effectively. The reptilian scientists who gave some tips, they know how far they can go not to fall foul of the community Galactica, so any help in this direction will come from them. That said, I can guarantee you that there is no Solar Warden Space Command and much less made spacecraft in Earth with interstellar capability. The only thing that really exists in space are the space stations that are multiplying in waste dumped by the military of your elites. There are some rumors that your elites intend to develop these spacecraft projects in the colonies kept on Mars because Mars has no energy belt as the Van Allen to prevent a possible navigation off the planet. Mithy, what is happening on Mars now? Are Russians participating in Mars colonization in some way, please? There has been much talk about future trips to Mars these days, almost as if the ones such as INASA and those controlling the colony there are considering disclosure about Mars being inhabited by reptilian and humanoid colony. Could you give us a current update on their population and progress there? Are the elites making progress with their non-GMO crops, and an ideal environment for healthy citizens? Do you know if the relationship with their cohorts the reptilians is an agreeable one, or how is it going? Do they continue capitalism for their system? Any news would be appreciated. I have to admit I have been happy knowing the reptilians are there and hopefully will not be causing trouble with planet Tiamat's newly developing level 1 colony. Also, are the elites there already? Tanya and Kath, okay, let's buy parts. Not the Russians or Chinese are participating in this settlement, only carefully selected elements for your elites. Workers in important areas of other ethnicities were transferred there with one-way ticket, and subjected to sterilization so they cannot reproduce locally. Currently, according to Chithok's data, they are close to reaching 30,000 humans living and working there. Crops and livestock are doing very well. They're helping much in the atmospheric balance and keeping much more defined rainy seasons regionally. Currently, with little adaptation, anyone can breathe freely in the Martian atmosphere. The relationship with reptilians is good. They have areas adapted to the human population and areas to the reptilians in cities that have built, but all move freely without problems. The economy there is based on a credit system. There are no banks or money, so everything is controlled by the credit system. These credits are cumulative. If you do not use all your credits during the period, these accumulate for the next period, and if you would like to lend credits for a friend, can also transfer smoothly. Yes, the elites have luxurious special facilities in own neighborhoods, all well planned and executed. Certainly will be the official address of your elite, so they all transfer there as planned. Mythy, why haven't the CG revealed itself to the entire world and allowed Terrains to decide on integration with the CG? Since our conversation started over 6 years ago, you stated that more Level 1 worlds have been contacted and welcomed into the CG. I find it extremely interesting that a few corrupt Earth leaders are holding back an entire advanced galactic civilization from introducing itself to 8 billion people. Jerry, as your philosophers say, patience is a virtue. If you now do not understand the procedure of the community, Galactica will one day certainly understand. The colony will have to be at the right point of balance so that an open contact happen and get the expected result of this type of interaction. Mythy, speaking about current events, several family, friends, and I have been dreaming about the same huge buildings filled with many dormitories, food kiosks, exercise rooms, and huge rooms that dwarf the size of many Earth buildings, all found within this huge building complex. We saw different breeds living in these dormitories and at one point were allowed in to visit inside these large apartments. What are we seeing in these shared dreams? Jerry, in these times that you are living, a lot can be seen in the form of intuitions. What you may be sensing is a kind of post regarding integration between races, which takes place in new colonies finally join the community Galactica. Many races will come to help with techniques and new procedures for the development and balance of communities and the nature of the planet. The peaceful coexistence phase will be started at last. Mythy, I came to this world with technical knowledge from an earlier life from what appeared to be a non-Earth world and an aptitude to teach them. I know that I am no Victor Schauberger, but am I wrong for helping this society with my offerings of technological advances for financial gains? In light of previous contributors, like Tesla and Einstein, were they wrong for capitalizing off their knowledge they brought from the Pleiades? Jerry, you live and survive on planet Earth, so you have to pay to live, eat, drink, communicate and medicate. In this case, be paid for teaching is a consequence of the system imposed to you, so the question is answered. Mythy, if one of our friends is captured, are they unable to use other methods to escape, or, because of the nature of the incarceration, they have to follow local rules and customs? Almost all true stories of space friends that have found themselves in this position either expired or waited for trade-off of some sort when they obviously could partake of a quick remolecularization transport reassignment. Jeffrey, the process of removing a machine or device is different. Walls, floors and ceilings are broken by the displacement. A living body is different. The detection of a machine or device is made via its molecular composition. A living being is detected by their single frequency, and in this case when they are in captivity are placed in locations under strong electromagnetic fields to prevent tracking. If they are dead, their frequencies cease to exist and therefore no longer traceable. Mythy, in the meeting 43 you mentioned that 60% of level 1 of the population would be in America and in Europe, and the rest scattered in other areas of the planet. My question is if since then changed something. Carlos, interesting question. When I mentioned these numbers 5 years ago, the level 0 plus levels 1 amounted to 10.15 of the world population. At that time, the distribution was in the percentages described for the time. Now with the number already at around 34.8%, these proportions have changed significantly. Nowadays these approximate 35% are divided into 41% for America and Europe, and 59% for the rest of the ethnic groups on the planet. Apparently what happened was the increased access to information that could assist in the integration of many ethnic groups who were trapped in their religious regionalities, and today already entered in a greater state of global colonization. Be well and healthy all of you, my friends. See you again next meeting.